What's up, guys? I'm Lionel, and welcome to the first real video where I'm gonna try and take content creation video stuff a little more serious. To give you guys a background about my story and the reason why I'm starting a YouTube channel in the first place is just because I feel like I have a very interesting story to tell, and I feel like as a self-taught software engineer, I want to motivate others who come from the places that I come from and to let them know that you can do this too, especially with ChatGPT, especially with all the different resources that we have out there for free learning. You don't really need a computer science degree the way that you think you do. Not to say that it's easy. I definitely got lucky, blessed, all, you know, respect to the Most High. I know that this was not me, and still I feel like I should give back. So this is the first time that I'm really telling this story. I should be rehearsing, but that's another thing. I'm gonna be a very, off the cuff, unedited type of dude. You see, I'm barely even, dressed. I haven't really prepped my background. That tree is about to die, but there's a lot. It's more beautiful on the other side, but it's all. See, I'm not worried about that. I feel like whoever's gonna see this video is gonna be the people who need to see it, and I don't need to fancy everything up, and try to be something that I'm not naturally. I'm just gonna do this natural and throw it out, and if I get 3 views, I'm cool. That's 3 people who I helped. That's what it's about. It's not about numbers. It's not about quantity. It's about quality. So again, I'm saying that what was I saying? My story. I don't even know where to start. I need to tell this more than once because there's going to be different levels and iterations. But let's just go back to me being comfortable being a self-taught person in the first place. I got my GED, dropped out, and joined the military in like the 10th grade. And fast forward to like getting out, and then I got a camera off of Craigslist. My best friend, shout out to Ivan and Brenner. I always give them props for this, for teaching me that you can be an artist. You can do it. For a while, I freelanced photo and video for a very long time. For most of my 20s, I was just making money off of, weddings. It was when Instagram first came out, so I was getting all of the Instagram model shoots and shit like that. And then I moved to LA for a little bit. I ran a art venue. This is a whole nother story that if people are interested, I'll tell that whole story. Because I was out in LA growing weed for a while, and then the school that I went to learn how to grow weed from, they were moving their warehouses, and the guy told me like, hey, let's see if you could do anything with this venue. Let me have that for a little bit. I ended up leaving that to work for Drum, who was a, that song Broccoli, in the middle of broccoli. That I was working for him for a while, and then came home to visit and ended up having a son. Crash landed back here in 2016, and at that point I started truck driving, which is where it's important. So just remember that 20-year-old, all my 20s, I was self-taught. I was self-taught the whole time with the camera. I was making videos on Final Cut, editing in Photoshop, tutorials. I was on it. But then I was like, man, I'm tired of these clients. I'm tired of everything. I'm about to have a son. I need to get a legitimate check that I don't have to run out and go get. For a while, I was on that type time, and I went to CDL school, and COVID hit. So I got out of CDL school, and I was just a straight truck driver. Local box truck for cookout. I still wear my cookout shirt. I don't care. And I was doing that 12 hours a day. I say that like it's a lot. It was a lot, but at the same time, I loved it. I loved not having to answer to nobody. I'm a loner anyway. I love the solitude. I learned so much. I'm a nerd. Anything I was into, like now I know all the things that I didn't learn in school. Like, why is the sky blue? They say we come from stars. How? How did that happen? Shit, how are stars born? All of these things I got into. I got into deep stuff, and eventually I got into coding. Being trapped in a car for all that time, I started getting on the coding YouTube, and I started. Shout out to 100 devs, Leon Noel. I will always, forever shout them out, and because they changed my life. It's a Leon Noel went to Yale, and then he started a free YouTube boot camp to teach people how to code and stuff like that. Let me move this over here so I can make a little bit of eye contact there. Hey, that's better. So, yeah, Leon Noel, 100 devs. I joined his Discord, started following his videos where he taught HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. I had already known this stuff because I went through JavaScript, basic data structures, and algorithms on Free Code Camp. In my time off, I was doing that. And I was a member of Team Treehouse. But Leon Noel is when I really started to really grasp it. Something about that dude in the way that he was teaching, the way that he was talking. The videos are a little long, but shit, I was trapped on the road anyway. So I was just watching them, just listening, and then catching the jewels and going home and working. And episode 7, I think it was, he's got 30 videos. And on episode 7 was like, okay, now you guys know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. It's time. It's time to start freelancing. Hit up everybody that you know and tell them, I want to make you a website. And that's what I did. My thing became being a small business marketer is really how I started. And shoot, I made my first $1,000 was off of a gig like this. Coding technically was making a digital display for a smoothie shop, their menu to show in the back. I made it on Canva, so I shouldn't even call that coding, but it was for my first step out as a freelancer. I worked with Just Another Carpenter, a carpentry company out of Atlanta, made their website. And I wasn't just making their website, I was whatever you need, because I know for myself from trying to be a engineer, I learned for myself what it's like as a small businessman. You doing everything, you wearing all those hats. So the way that I was positioning and selling myself to people was, look, I know what you're going through. I know you got a lot going on. Here's my rate. Brain dump on me. Tell me all your problems and let me help fix them. Do you need marketing? Do you need someone to run the Instagram? Do you need website work? Do you need whatever? Because I noticed most of these businesses are pissed off at their marketers, at their SEO people for whatever reason. And I was sliding in there at a low cost and just being cool and getting shit done. So, fast forward to, I did that for a long time. I did that for like 6 months while still learning how to code, working on personal projects. And to get out of trucking, I had a meeting with the CEO of a janitorial distribution company that I used to work for back in the day as a driver. And I told him about what I do now. And I'm like, yo, bring me in on the office. I'll do, my stuff there. I really just wanted to get out of truck driving. I wasn't too, focused on that job. But once I got in there in the office, now I could code even more. I could study even more. And I was getting off at 5 o'clock instead of working 10 in the morning to 10 at night. So I was, I started doing that. Freed me up. I created a palette management app for them, with, what I do that with? Express, React, and I think Node, was it? Most of the stuff I was doing was with ChatGPT's help to this day, which I'm going to start showing you guys. I'm going to clock in and work, share my screen, and just, show you guys how I get down and how I know how to code somewhat, but it's more so like working with ChatGPT and Googling, which is what they say all developers do. Anyway, I'm not calling myself a junior no more, even though I just started. Anyway, I got a pretty good portfolio going, which helped me get even more clients. LionelTheBuilder.com if you want to check that out. I need to update it, but you can at least see. Matter of fact, I'll put it in the description so that y'all can see a Gatsby JS theme and a couple of projects got me my position right now where I'm a full stack developer for a startup. Join the startup was what they say. Self-taught guys, that's what you gotta do. You gotta join a startup. Now, how did I join a startup? I got out there. That episode 7 of Leon Noel, I never made it past the 7th episode of 100 devs, because when he said, you guys know HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, it's time to start freelancing. I have been so busy since then that I have never finished the course. I need to. Shit, I'm learning every day. I still have much to learn. I feel like I will always have a lot to learn. But it was more about networking, more about getting out of there with your personality, reaching out and touching people and making a LinkedIn and going to events. I joined a hackathon. Man, this is so divine, bro. The way that like everything lined up. Okay, so I first I went to a conference in Miami, which really made me want to like, and this is another Leon Noel thing. He was like, yo, you want to go to a conference for free? I found a conference called InfoBip. It was I have ADHD. That's why I keep moving so much. I'm sorry. InfoBip Shift Miami, right? Was a conference, and he said, here's a cheat code to how you can go to conferences. Volunteer. So I contacted them through email. I said, hey, I would love to volunteer for you guys. I love what you're doing, and I just want to attend and help in any capacity that I can. They responded with, I'm sorry, we're actually full for volunteers, but thank you so much, and here's a free ticket. So I was like, oh shit, I could go for free now. So that's what I went, and I was networking a little bit. Leon Noel was saying like, don't eat lunch alone, you know, and shit like that. And I talked a little bit, but really what it did was just fire me up even more that, yo, I have to be one of these guys. Like, I feel like nobody in there really knew my story, because I didn't share too much about myself, but you know, I was talking, chopping it up a little bit, but more so I was just soaking in the vibe. Like, whoa, these are developers. Like, wow. You know, I'm a developer. And I came home fired up. Joined a hackathon, which we ended up winning. Shout out to Flare Deck. We created a Dungeons and Dragons companion app, and it won us the prize. And that was my first time using GitHub with more than just myself, and seeing how, okay, this guy's working on the back end. We're the mobile side. He is project managing. It was 5 of us. I had a lead developer I was tapping into for the whole weekend, drinking coffee and just fucking coding. It was awesome. And it helped me strengthen a bond with real developers. And that hackathon was held by a accelerator group, which, double back, I went through their first cohort as a crypto founder, which is another thing that made me want to code. Blockchaingames.world. I still have a crypto idea, which I'm not going to give too much about because I'm going to build it. But we had a team in India that was helping us build this blockchain situation that we were doing, right? And I had to pay, or we didn't end up paying it, because our most expensive bill was going to be me paying a code reviewer to make sure that the people in India weren't ripping us off and we're actually working to kind of project manage them. It was $150 an hour to pay that developer. So I was like, yo, okay, I really got to learn the code now, you know, because I can either just do what he's doing or do that for myself. Like, I should be the guy looking at the code, making sure that they're not ripping us off and that they're making progress, you know. That like almost killed our whole thing, you know. Between that and crypto crashing at the time, like, now would be a great time to do. I mean, I don't know how. I kind of I was a huge crypto head, and I kind of fell off of that because I felt like I was tired of preying on crypto. I did make a lot of money with crypto, and but then it went down. Shoot, I even quit my job off of the like 30K I was up, which I know isn't much, but I was on that Gary V shit, like, yo, I'm gonna start a company now. I'm an expert. They had a podcast, everything. And anyway, whew, being a part of that startup community has been awesome. It's been life changing. Um, I took a meeting, a random meeting with this dude that nothing came from it. I took a meeting with this guy, with a prospect, and I just thought, like, hey, let's meet at Assembly, right? Which is the dope building that I'm talking about, that I learned, that I went through that cohort with. I'm very tapped in there now. I pretty much know most of everybody there. And so I'm sitting there meeting this dude. I'm like, yeah, what you're saying sounds cool. Yeah, here's what I do. You know, we were seeing if there was any synergy there, which there really wasn't. He dipped. And then this lady, who I know is an important person there, walks by and is like, hey, Lionel. I'm like, hey. And she's like, you build websites, right? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, how much would you charge me to redesign my site? She put up her computer, came up, we looked at it. I was like, that's a simple WordPress. I could do that for 1,200. And she was like, okay, cool, do it. WordPress template, I knocked that out, strengthened our relationship. And then she, inside Slack, tagged me and two other developers, that fractional CTO, ex-Apple 150 guy, and then another guy who is super busy, booked. So I'm like, wow, just putting me in that conversation. But immediately, I reached out to that company. As soon as she said it, as soon as I saw it, I reached out. They called me the next. We set a meeting to talk the next day, and I was at work at Cavalier at the time, at the janitorial distribution place. I stepped aside and I'm like, did an interview at my other job with them, talking about coding, and they were like, it's a told me everything. I don't want to talk about, give names and stuff. I'm trying to avoid doing that just in case, not to, like, I don't know, mess anything up. But they told me what they do. I told them what I do, and I was completely honest and transparent. Like, yo, I'm not the guy who can fix everything or even knows, like, what we're really doing here, but I'm a go-getter. I'm experienced. I'm self-taught. I'm motivated. I can learn anything. There's nothing out here that I can't learn. And I have a team also. We just won a hackathon. So I know developers. I got mentors who I could reach out to with any problems that we have. And he was like, so how many developers do you think you would need to help us with this? They were just a funded startup looking to build their development team. And I was like, I know just the guy. He was the lead of my hackathon team. So I called him up. I'm like, hey man, I got an opportunity here. You free on this day? Let's meet up. We sat down with this dude for lunch. They hired both of us. Me as the junior, him as the lead, him project manager. He's not writing any code himself unless I need his help. And now I'm a software engineer, full time, learning every day. And so I need to share my story to let people know, don't give up. I know how it is out there. I know that YouTube has a whole lot of, I've been looking for 3 years. I've been looking for 4 years. Man, in less than a year, I went from truck driving to developer. Blessed and lucky, I know, because there's so many things that if I didn't make that move, it wouldn't happen. If I didn't go to the hackathon, if I didn't meet with that guy at Assembly that day, and when the lady walked by, that's what, making her website is what got me to give the dude the call. I'm remote. This is my dream. I prayed for this. I'm super thankful. And that's why I'm giving back. And that's why I'm motivating. I was just speaking to the kids at ODU, because I'm doing another hackathon, and I told my story there. And that's another reason what made me want to make this YouTube, is because afterwards some of them were coming up to me, and I saw in the crowd how they lit up when I shared some of my story. Which, man, I haven't even gotten into half of like the real story. Like, it's a lot. So depending on what you guys, the few who do find this, you know, what you guys value, I'll put out there. If you want to hear more about my story, or if you want to just talk motivation talk, I'm gonna get into like my routine, because I'm also a very spiritual, self-development minded person. I'm a very like keto diet, physical, mental, mind, body, and soul type of person. And I truly believe that with all we have, like, we're living it. I know that the world has a lot of craziness going on right now, but I truly do believe that we're all blessed to be living right now, and that we really can go after it right now. I don't want this to be too long. It's an intro video, so I'm gonna find some cool title to give this for, but that's it for now. I will catch y'all later. Peace.